Hey guys, welcome to the Lowdown Show. And in this video, I have a returning guest. You've seen him before. He's Jon Justice, my friend, fellow YouTuber on My Nerd World, and he has a website, mynerdworld.net, and he is the author of the Embark series. And he's got a new book that we'll be talking about. God Corbin and the actually the misfortune. Hey John, how you doing?
I'm doing all right, buddy. Thanks for having me on again. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. It's a blast every time. It's exciting. To have your book come out, and then I got the audio, and we talked about it last time, and yeah. I kind of want to go through the book a little bit, you
Sure.
know, and then I think it only came out like a couple weeks ago, maybe a
Yeah.
month ago. There may be a little. Hopefully, there's no spoilers. I'll keep it vague. But I'm definitely interested in like let's start off like at the beginning, like the process of it. Like, was there in Nick book, this is book four, if
Mhm.
some people don't know, um, was there anything different? I know the book was shorter and it's a standalone book. Was there anything different to the process of writing and doing the audio book? Anything big, or was it kind of the same?
No, it was actually really different.
Okay.
The first three books in the series are it's a trilogy,
Yes.
and I have another trilogy coming, and we could talk about that maybe towards the end.
Nice.
Um, I had set up. I really liked this character, and I had set up the scenario in book three, the Vanishing War,
Yeah.
where you don't really know what happens to him, and I did that with the idea in the back of my mind of I had always thought about writing a separate adventure outside of the main saga. A lot like what they've done with Star Wars and Rogue One or the Solo movie or the Marvel films where you have the individual stories. And so
Yes.
um, I always knew it was going to be shorter, and I wanted to just create a fun adventure, make it a little bit funnier. And probably the biggest change was in terms of writing. The the saga is done from multiple points of view. There's a lot of characters.
Yes.
This was my first time writing a story in first person. It's all from Gon Corbin's point of view,
Yes.
which I really enjoyed. It was a lot of fun. The rest of the books, the saga stories, will continue to be multiple points of view, but I really just wanted to have it be first person inside his head, what he's going through. So that was probably the biggest change from the other stories.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely tell. The book is a little bit different. I got the audio, and I can tell right away. The pacing was different, was
Mm,
good. It seemed, I know once we start doing stuff, things start to get better. They seemed more. It seemed more the wheels and it was the book, the whole thing was a little more, taste out better. Not saying
yeah.
like the other ones weren't. It's just like, oh wow. So you had a different feel of it. I could tell right away, like, wow, this is different. But it's flowing real better, you
Yeah,
know.
I wanted it to be, I wanted it to kind of not let up.
Yeah,
This wasn't a this wasn't a very complex story. I mean,
yes,
it's just here's a guy, he's
yeah,
got this sarcastic buddy, he's got to get out of this situation, and then other situations that come. Um, so yeah, from that perspective, I in terms of pacing, uh, I struggled because there were moments where I was like, well, do I want to make it longer? Do I want to add more? And I'm like, no, this is a nice little fun adventure. I didn't want to bog it down at all. So yeah, pacing wise, it just kind of it hums right along. It kind of
yes,
starts and it doesn't really let up.
yes. And you definitely have like the sound effects, and we'll get into the book now. And when I started listening to it, yeah,
Mhm.
I was hooked right away. And I emailed you. Yeah, this is something. Yeah, get the book definitely, but you guys would definitely need to get the audio for it because I can see the action going on. I even felt a little bit of comic book stuff. Like, man, this could be a comic book or an animated series. Right off the bat, because things are just going right away with him and Alex, the android, the robot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
No, and that's something that I've actually been toying with the idea of turning a couple of the stories into comic books. It's really just a matter of time,
Oh
between
yeah.
between the full-time job and then doing the podcast, on the weekends, and then the writing. My attempts, well, I guess I am an author now. I've written 4 books, so I can call myself an author. It's really weird to say, but this is kind of my retirement plan. When I'm done with radio, I really love writing, and if I'm given that opportunity, I would love to turn these in. There's a lot of different things I'd like to do, but turning them into comic books would I'd really really love to do that, especially with Gon's story. It's really conducive of that.
Yes, yes. And I looked up some information on his name. I was telling you, because I'm not that big of a Depeche Mode fan, but
Uh-huh.
I mean, I grew up in the '80s. I mean, born in 1980, but still, when I looked them up and I listened to their music, I'm like, oh, I do know this band. Because they had some the hits, Silence and all that, and I was like,
Right,
okay,
right, right.
okay, that's the band, yes. And it's funny because I'm an electronic band from the UK, right? And me growing up, I like New Order, so I was like, oh, okay, we got something in common a little bit. But yeah. So his name, if people who are fans of Depeche Mode, definitely was caught on, right? I didn't until I looked it up.
Right.
I don't know. It's from two names, right? Gone.
So yeah, I really love um when little Easter eggs and little nods to other things are included in books. That's one of the reasons why I loved the first Ready Player One book and movie so much. I didn't care for the second book all that much,
Mm.
but I really love Ready Player One. I mean, that's all filled with all kinds of nostalgia and all that. So much of the things that I love influence everything that I do. I've included a lot of that in all the books.
Yes,
So
definitely.
when I came up for the name, his first name is the last name of the lead singer. So the lead singer of Depeche
Okay.
Mode,
Okay.
which is my favorite band ever. I've
Yeah.
seen them 32 times live. I love these guys.
Nice.
So Dave Gaughan is the lead singer of Depeche Mode.
Okay.
Anton Corbin
Okay.
is basically the visual director behind the band
Yes. Okay.
in the late 80s, and then until today. Anton Corbin has done almost all their videos, has done almost all their artwork. He gave a visual presence
Yes.
to the band. So as a direct nod, I was like, well, Gon Corbin is a really cool name, and so
Yeah.
that's where that came from. And him being a former rock star, even though don't
Yeah.
I don't play on that too much, is also a bit of a part of that. It's kind of all sort of wrapped up in the things that I'm into.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I said, someone who's not that big of a fan of Depeche Mode, I didn't even know that until I researched it. And even if I did, I felt like, oh yeah, they're both former rock stars, but I didn't even put two and two together. But it sounded the name just sounded like like a Star Wars name, like a
Sure.
like a outer space name. I'm like,
Well,
oh, that's cool.
it's funny when I was promoting it. I belong to some Depeche Mode message boards and all that. When
Yeah.
I was promoting it, I had because fans of Depeche Mode are rabid. We're done that way.
Okay.
Um, I had all these people going, "Is that what I think?" Yes, I did that intentionally, and they're like, "Are you allowed to do that?" I go, "Yes, I'm allowed to do that." So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Yeah. So yeah. So the so the story. So the guy he derived from the embarked series itself, but he didn't play a big role. And yeah, he had a lot. He was in there, gone Clore or gone. We'll call him gone in the book. He was in there a little bit at the end, right? And he was in the main character. Just in case
yeah,
people who haven't read the book.
yeah. No, in he plays a minor role in book 3. He kind
Yes.
of Gon shows up at the beginning of book 3
Yes.
and helps set the stage. We were introduced to him, and he has kind of a minor role throughout the book. It's I don't know, third, fourth tier
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
There's a relationship that's established between him and another person in the book that ends up playing off in this one.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, when I was writing him in book 3, I was always like, if I was going to do a spin-off, it would be with him and Alex. And
Okay.
in book 3, I don't give Alex a voice. He's just He
Yeah.
just
I
he
don't.
just talks in beeps and boops in book 3.
Yes. Yeah.
I did that intentionally because I wanted to save all that for the side story. So I
Okay.
left him. I left Alex. He's there and he plays a tiny role in book
Yeah.
3, but I wanted to save him all for this book.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, funny you mentioned that because I don't even remember him in there. Unless I would have read the book again. But yeah. Yeah. So yeah.
He's not in there very much. He's kind of, there's a mention here or there of him, and Gon, I think, has like one or two one-way conversations with him, but that's it in book
Yeah.
3.
Yeah. 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 So definitely. So this book. Yeah. It's a standalone. And at the beginning, obviously they get caught up and they land on an asteroid. And and I was getting these feels at the beginning between Alex and Gon. I had a little bit of the Han Solo UPO kind of feeling, because I was like, man, these guys, they don't like each other, and Gon treats them like crap, pretty much. But they have that love relationship, like,
Sure.
hey, I need you, but stop, you're ignoring me a lot. So I had that. Definitely, I had that right away. I had that feel.
Well, it was funny because I wanted them to be snippy with one
Yeah.
another, and it wasn't until I went and was going through the editing and then doing the narration for the audiobook that it dawned on me. I'm like, wow, they really are just horrible to each other. And I struggled for a moment thinking, well, do I want to lighten them up? But as I was working through the story in the editing and the narrating process, um, and this happens a lot when I'm editing. It's like I feel it shifting a certain way. Like, are they getting too mean? Are they getting too mean?
Right.
But then usually that's juxtaposed against a moment where there's niceties between them.
Yes.
And so when I was going through and I was like, oh, okay, because you get so far from after you write them, it gets edited by somebody else, it comes back to me. I've got quite a bit of distance on the story, so I have to kind of be reminded myself of
Okay.
what's
Yeah.
happened and what the dynamics are. So it's a pleasant little surprise when I start to feel uncomfortable, like, ooh, they're being too mean with each other. But then I realize that I have written a way out of that. I'm like, oh,
Mm.
okay, I took care of that. We're fine. And I kind of like that fact. I kind of like the fact that it's kind of an antagonistic little relationship, but there's definitely payoffs to all that.
Yes.
It's a love hate. It's a long way of saying
Yeah.
it's a love hate relationship between those two.
Yeah. 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 Definitely. And I don't know how much you can get into, like, so there are new characters that come in. They get on the asteroid and kind of a little bit. I was trying to figure out where, because this is definitely part of the series. Like, like there's some people called like the roamers or the
Mhm.
miners. Yeah, they're
Oh,
so I'm trying to figure out the world, like, okay, where are they at? Did you kind of plan out like what asteroid is this? How far are they from the base of
sure.
the gang? If you can set
So
that up.
so roamers, the roamers were mentioned in they're mentioned throughout the books, but we never really see them.
Yes.
They're in the first story. It's a group of individuals who, um, in Bark Book 1, before the evacuation of the planet, there's a group of people that left the planet who didn't want to
Mm,
live there anymore,
okay.
and um, long before anything bad happened. But they
Oh,
would come back to Earth and they would pillage and rob and steal, right? Kind of like a crime syndicate or whatever.
okay.
Um, so they were established in book 1, and you kind of hear passing mentions of them throughout the books. In book 2, there's sort of a bait and switch where people think that roamers are involved, but they're not involved. So I bring them in to this story,
Yes.
um, and that will pay off in book 6, which will come out
Oh.
next month.
Oh,
Which is
okay.
which will kick off the next trilogy. That's finished. I'm just waiting to get the edit back, from my editor, and then I'm actually, um, about a third of the way through book. I'm sorry, book 5.
Oh, if I,
Book 5 comes back, and then I'm about a third of the way through book 6. So the
oh wow.
roamers will play a much larger role. This story, while it's a standalone, kind of apart from the trilogy,
Yes.
it serves as a bit of a link. Like, you
Yeah.
won't have to read it to understand book 5, but if you do, you're gonna get a lot of stuff that's gonna happen in the next book.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Cause it, Gone Corbin, it is like we thought it was gonna be a standalone. The band, it was, but then when I read it, especially towards the end, I'm like, a big part of the series because it is. It feels like a standalone, but then it also feels like you need to read this one too. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah,
like, and if you're a fan, you read it all no matter what. But yeah, so I was like, yeah, did he? It's a standalone, but then it's not. Cause yeah, it definitely has a lot of meat in it for the whole,
right.
the whole universe of the, embarked
Well,
universe.
my hope was, and I don't know if this is gonna, I don't know if this will happen yet. I haven't sold enough books, and I'm still trying to generate a name for myself.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
this book, my goal was to accomplish a couple of things. It was, create a fun side adventure that anybody could pick up
yes,
at any moment and just read without having read anything else.
yes.
Like if you just
Okay,
pick this up, you can kind of get thrown into the universe.
yes.
As a matter of fact, the opening of the book is a scene from book three. I basically took the scene
Oh,
from book three, The Vanishing War, and reworked it as the start of the book. So you actually get a portion of book three in this. Um,
yeah,
and then there's something that happens at the end where you get there's some finality to it, but it's kind of like a post credit scene. So
yeah.
if you stick around to the end, you're going to be like, what?
Yes,
And that was intentional.
yes, yeah, yeah, and I felt that. I put that in my review. Like at the end, there's a post, like you say, yeah, it's like a post credit scene from like a
Yeah,
Marvel film. I'm like, whoa, this is very interesting, and it was long too. I thought it was gonna be like a short little, but it was long. I was like, whoa, whoa, we're getting to some, whoa, we're going somewhere else now, and
yeah.
so I enjoyed that. Yeah, that was good. That was like definitely good. Um, so how are the reaction to the fan to the book? Like, you got a lot of feedback. Everybody
Yeah,
loved
no,
it.
yeah,
Everybody,
everybody has seemed to enjoyed it so far. It hasn't been out for very long, and like I
yeah.
said, I'm still establishing myself as a writer. But everybody that's picked it up and read it has really enjoyed it. When you're a self-published author, it's all about sort of the volume. You've got to
Yes.
you got to put so many books out.
Okay.
I've got I'm really blessed to have a lot of people that know me through being a radio host
Mhm.
for over 20 years,
Yes.
who are kind enough to go and check out the books, and even people that aren't sci-fi fans. I think I've actually made some people into science fiction fans, which is kind of fun. But no, the reaction to it has been really good. We'll see how that pays off down the line. This next book, book five, coming out, I'm excited for all of them. But
Yes.
I did
Oh
some
yeah.
things in book five that I think is going to help bring people to actually Gone Corbin's story.
Okay.
I really do think that when book five comes out, they're going to be like, oh, I want to read this. If they haven't, I want to read this lead in to this, because we jump ahead in the timeline about 11 years in book
Oh
five.
yeah.
Um,
Okay. Yeah. I think I read that
so
somewhere.
no, the response has been good, and people have gotten out of it what I wanted. I just wanted people to have just a fun, kind of funny adventure, and a quick read or a quick listen, and so far everybody seems to have really liked it.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. And yeah, I definitely want to talk about what you're doing now. But before that, and definitely you guys go pick up the book. I don't want to spoil too much. But I did one more question about the character God himself. I'm trying to like pinpoint. We're all movie fans of who would play this guy, and I was like, well, what does he remind me of? Not really Han Solo, 'cause he's not that slick. But then I was like, then in the end, I got my conclusion like he's kind of like a Dave Pratt or not Dave Pratt, Star
Yeah,
Lord. Star Lord. He sounds like he's a little more like Star Lord, kind of goofy and
yeah,
not that quip. So
yeah. He's kind of
yeah, what
he
does he base
definitely
all stuff?
Yeah. If Chris Pratt wasn't already playing Star
Chris
Lord, he
Pratt.
could probably play Gon Corbin.
Okay, I
He's kind
felt
of an
that.
amalgamation. When you look at Han Solo, or you look at the main character in the Firefly series or
Oh,
Serenity,
okay, yeah, I haven't.
you
Yeah,
know, you
okay,
look at Gon Corbin. I mean, you look at Star Lord.
yes,
They're all they're all kind of like that. It's kind of a
Okay.
cross between Han Solo, Star Wars,
Yeah.
Han Solo, Star Lord, and like Mark Watley from The Martian. It's
Oh, okay.
kind of a combination of all those characters.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I was just wondering. Yeah. Yeah. I had that feeling. When I read it. Like, well, So that's good. Okay. That's good.
I kind
But
of pictured it was funny because I had imagined him when I wrote book 3 and included him.
yes.
I actually had Jared Leto in mind,
Oh.
the actor
Yeah.
and he's got his own band. So
Yes.
visually, that's who I was Jared Leto, 30 Seconds to
Yeah.
Mars lead singer and the actor. That's
Yeah.
who I had originally had in mind. He's not necessarily a funny character, but he could do funny if he wanted to. But that's who
Yes.
I visualized playing the character.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Definitely. Definitely. So yeah. Yeah. Everybody, pick up the book if you have it. The audio, like I said, that's a must as well for all of them. Because I do most of mine on audio anyways. It helps me out. And it's just a lot funner. And definitely pick up the book as well. It's on his website. I'll put it all down in a link down below here. This on his channel. But what is there anything else you want to add, or can you give us a little insight of what's going on next? You did a little bit already of book 5 and 6, kind of.
Yeah,
What's going down the pipeline now?
so book 5, if you've read or listened to Gone Corbin,
Yes.
or actually it's funny, I haven't revealed like publicly the title of book 5. However, it's included in Gone Corbin's story.
Yeah.
And it's also up, if you look at the details, the product descriptions of all the books, it shows a coming soon for book 5. I won't say it here. People want to go and look.
Yeah.
So I've got 3 more books on the way.
Wow. Yeah.
They'll be out this year, all 3.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm doing a rapid release this year. I want
Yeah.
to see what happens if I get all 3 books out. Because Embark book 1 came out in 2018, and then book 2 was 2019,
Yes.
and then book 3 was 2020, and then 2021. So
Yeah.
I didn't want that big of a gap. This story, these next 3 stories that I'm writing, are I don't want to say they're going to end on cliffhangers, but you're going to want to move on to the next one. So I wanted to shorten the
Yes.
shorten the
Okay.
timeline about a month, or month and a half between releases. So book 5 comes out, should be out the beginning of March. So a
Oh,
couple
okay.
of
Beginning of March. Oh, wow. Oh, that's pretty. Yeah. That's quick. Yeah. Yeah.
The audiobook will take a little bit of time because it takes a while for it to get approved. I had the audiobook done for Gone Corbin. I had submitted that for review to Audible on December 31st,
Yes.
and they didn't get it done for over a month.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
really, really frustrated by that. So the audiobooks
Okay.
take longer
Yes.
to produce and then to have them get approved. And then
Yeah.
book 6 should be out March, April, probably beginning of May, and then 7 will be end of May, or I'm sorry, end of June, early July. This next set of stories, they're really cool. I had an idea. I had an idea that I wanted to do in the first trilogy that I didn't do,
Okay.
and it's in. I don't want to spoil
Okay.
anything.
Yeah. No
It's
spoilers.
in book 5. I'm really, really excited about it, and when people see the cover, they'll understand. And if you pay, I'm really giving a lot away, but if you pay
Oh,
super close attention, okay, to what happens in the epilogue of Gone Corbin,
okay. Yeah. I'll
it's not obvious, but the place in the epilogue of Gone Corbin is very, very specific.
Yes.
And some people I think may pick, I haven't talked to anybody who picked up on it yet.
Okay.
I'll get, once we're done,
Maybe. Yeah. We'll talk off air.
I'll let you know. So yeah, this next group of stories is a lot of fun, and they're going to be different. They'll still be very much in the Embark universe, obviously.
Yes.
And we're going to be playing with some characters that we already know that have grown up, and but it's going to be.
Oh yeah.
I wanted a different I didn't want to rehash what happened in the first book. So I'm really, really excited for these next 3 books to come out. And it's fun too, because I already have all the covers are done. I
Oh,
got all the
nice.
covers done ahead of time, and yeah, I've got all the artwork ready to go. I just got to write them and edit them and put them out there. So, and I'm hoping I get back book 5 either this weekend or hopefully mid next week, and hopefully it wasn't in too bad of a shape for my editor because I want to keep working with her.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Yeah. Well, guys, I think I should wrap it up. But John, definitely tell us where. I know I said in the beginning of the video
Sure.
already, but definitely plug in everything you need to plug in. That way we can find you and follow you.
Yeah, go to mynerdworld.net.
Yeah.
That's the website. You can find me on, if you look for Jon Justice on Instagram or Facebook, you can find me there. I have a couple of Twitter accounts. I have at Jon Justice on Twitter and also at the My Nerd World. If you're interested in going and getting the books,
Yes.
the easy, just go right to Amazon. Just type in Amazon or
Yes.
just go to Amazon.com, embark Jon Justice, and you'll find all the books there in ebook, paperback, and an audiobook. And if you haven't gotten into the series at all, book 1 in ebook right now is priced at just 99 cents. So
Yeah.
I've got
Okay.
it. I've got it priced down low to get people into the story, so you can go pick it up for less than $1, the ebook, and get started on the journey.
Yeah. Definitely. Cool. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you again. Thank you again coming on this channel and promoting your book, talking a little bit about it. It's always great. If you can talk to the person who wrote it and everything, and you're a friend on the show, obviously. And thank
Yeah,
you
man.
again. Yeah, guys, definitely check out all the websites and pick up the book, God Corbin and the Actual Misfortune. And I'll talk to you guys later.
Thanks for
Bye.
having me.